I recently went to the thrift store looking for some other things and I came across this bed sheet. It's like a cream color and it has burgundy pinstripes on it. I just thought it was the perfect fabric to use for a luxe pajama set. So I think that is what I want to make for myself today. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. If you're new to the channel, my name is Michelle. I do all things sewing over here. Sewing vlogs, sewing tutorials, everything sewing. So if that's your vibe, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Just like I mentioned, I have my bed sheet here. This is really soft. I don't even know what the brand is on this bed sheet, but I went to the thrift store a couple of days ago to look for some more bed sheets because I am in the process of making this circle top halter top that I want to pair with my sheer pants that I want to make. The sheer pants is one of the things that's on my list for this spring and summer. So I went to the thrift store to find some more sheets so I can go ahead and start making the template for the halter top that I want to make. I found a really pretty pink mauve color bed sheet, but then I came across this here. It has like burgundy pinstripes on it. I just thought this was a good bed sheet to use to make a luxury pajama set. I went on Etsy. Etsy is like coming a little sketchy about who posts patterns. You really got to be careful. You got to be careful when you're picking your patterns because you will get got. I think I've gotten got a couple of times, but I just took my chance on this pattern. So I want to make a luxe pajama set in this style with the ruffles on it. I want a long sleeve. Even though the summer is coming up, I still want long sleeve with the shorts with the ruffles on the sleeves and the bottom of the shorts. Pattern wasn't that much. I'll go ahead and link it if you would like to purchase this pattern and work on it. I read through the instructions and it seems pretty easy. Now that I'm looking at it, the level is, what is this, 2 out of 6? The level is 2 out of 6, so it's pretty beginner friendly. That's what they say. Sometimes instructions are not clear enough to where it's not so beginner friendly. I quickly read through it and it should be fairly easy and hopefully it's quick to just whip up right quick. I do have to tape and I do have to cut out the pattern pieces. I at least want to work on a pajama top tonight, and if this goes pretty quickly, then I can go ahead and work on the shorts. Before I move on to start making the top, I just want to thank everyone who has commented, who has watched, who has liked, hyped, subscribed, all of the things from the last video that I posted on the balloon pants. The balloon pants make was very challenging for me. I loved every single minute of the whole process with those balloon pants because it just made me understand pattern drafting and pattern making even more. Just everything is starting to click for me and I just want to learn even more about pattern drafting. I was so proud of myself for making those balloon pants and I'm just motivated now to keep working at my list of things. I'll link that video as well of all of the things that I want to make for this spring and summer. The next thing I think I want to make is the sheer pants. I think I want to wear the whole outfit to my son's graduation. He's graduating from the 8th grade. And I think that's what I want to wear for myself. I want to treat myself to a very nice fabric in order to make this top that I'm envisioning. The style has been around, but I just have to think about what extra things I want with this top. I think I want to use pure cotton linen for the top. And the fabric that I'm looking at, it has little embroidery pieces all on the cotton fabric. This cotton, 100% cotton linen fabric with embroidery on it, it's a little expensive. If I want to make pieces to go into my closet that I want to love and cherish and wear, maybe I have to spend a little bit more money on some fabrics in order to get what I want. I really don't like to spend that much on fabric. I just want to treat myself. I just want to treat myself to some nice fabric. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm taking a break from all of that. I just want to sew up my pajama set. I'm looking at these patterns and these patterns are humongous. This is like a men's size jacket pattern, overly oversized. So I think that is a tip to look at the measurements in the pattern and also measure out the actual pattern. What I'm following for my actual body measurements is saying that I would need a 4XL. I know I'm not in that size range. That just tells me that this pattern for the pajama shirt is oversized. I don't want this too oversized. What I did was just measure my bust, just kind of slacked it off a little bit to see like how much I want it loose. I'll take that measurement to match up with the back piece and the two front pieces of my shirt. And then I'll get my size that way. Because if I use a 4XL, it's going to be way too big for me. I'm going to do that for the bust since that is the widest part for the top. And then I will probably have to measure out the shorts as well. I don't know if that's going to be oversized. And once I get to the shorts, I'm going to do the same thing. It's a separate section for the shorts. It's not all combined. So once I get to the shorts, I'm going to do the same thing. Just get my hip measurement. Just match it up to the actual pattern piece instead of following the body measurements that's on the chart. Now that I've taken my measurement, it's showing that I'll need a double XL, which is better. That's around my size that I would like. I'm normally like a large, extra large. A 2XL will work so I can have a little bit of slouchiness. Now that I've chosen my size, I need to copy and paste my size instead of cutting all of my work. I do not cut into the patterns. I just trace out my size and keep the patterns. I do have tracing paper, but these patterns are too big. It's going to take me forever to trace it out. So I am going to use a tool that does not get a lot of love. A tracing wheel. I never really grabbed for this, but I just thought about it. I at least want to cut out my pattern pieces, and I did not want to use this tracing paper to get my size. Puts little dots on whatever you roll it on. This is going to come in handy with me tracing out my sizes and what I need. I don't know why they decided to use the back piece fully instead of using it on the fold. I feel like this is using up more paper to make this pattern piece. So I'm just gonna fold this in half and then treat this as a pattern piece on the fold. So now I just have to follow all of these pinpoints and just cut out my pattern piece. That took me all of 15 minutes to cut out all of my pattern pieces. I don't know why I never did use this tracing wheel. This is going to be my new favorite tool to use. This was more enjoyable to cut out the pattern pieces. Sometimes I'm just dreading to put all of these pieces together and then cut it out and then having to trace it and then cut it out again. Just using this wheel to trace out whatever size I needed and then just go in to cut my pattern piece. That was such a breeze. I'm so impressed. It's the little things. Okay, y'all. The directions with this pattern, they're totally wrong. They're not right. I got confused immediately. Just attaching the front to the back, I feel like the instructions are out of order. I don't know if it was actually a mistake on their part. Step one is to put stay stitch on the collar part, and then step two is to attach the pocket. I feel like you shouldn't have to attach the pocket until you fully construct the shirt. I just feel like the pocket should be the last thing that you can attach. You can always attach that after you put everything else together. Then step three is to attach the facing to the front part of the shirt. I already felt like that was out of order, but I went through with the instructions and it didn't feel right. It didn't look right. It didn't feel right. It just didn't seem right. So I tried to work with it, but it was not working. And even with me going to step 4, I'm like, how is this even possible? How could you attach the facing before you attach the collar? Because the collar has to be sandwiched between the actual shirt and the facing. So I don't know if it was just a mistake on their part. Maybe just rushing trying to get a pattern together and it's just not right. Or maybe it's another way to construct a shirt with a lapel on it. Y'all let me know. I don't know, but it was not coming together with me following the instructions as is. It did not work. So I had to pull up a video where they actually constructed it like I was thinking. I've made a shirt like this before where I had to make like a luxe pajama set, and I kind of remember the steps, and I do remember that I had to sandwich the collar in between the facing and the actual shirt. So I just followed that video and I did one side of the shirt and it came out the way it should come out. So here is the lapel part of my shirt. Here's the collar facing right here. I don't know. Sometimes I get so frustrated because you research trying to find the best pattern. And sometimes when a pattern is $5 or cheaper, you have to question yourself and wonder if it's actually a great pattern or a decent pattern. And then when you look at patterns that are like $14, $18, you think that maybe that is a little bit too much, is a little bit too pricey. But as I'm getting into like making my own patterns and the way I would construct and organize my pattern, if I were to sell it, I would want the instructions to be so thorough. I would want pictures. I would want step by step. I would open up a Q&A. Like if anybody had questions, I would create a video. I would make it so easy for people to just have a sewing project to complete instead of just having questions. I don't know, y'all. Tell me your thoughts on like how you look at patterns, how you judge patterns. This is one thing that my instructor told me, that all patterns are not made the same. That's the reason why she hates patterns. And that's the main reason why she drafts all of her patterns for anything that she wants to make. It just confuses everyone. She encourages anybody who wants to start sewing to not buy patterns because all of the terminology that will get to you. If the instructions are not clear, that just makes you very frustrated and not want to complete the whole project. Once you get stuck and you don't know where to go, you're just going to throw your project away midway through it and not go back to it. It's just very frustrating. Using other resources to help you get through stuff like this also helps. But when you spend your own money on stuff, thinking that all of the instructions is just going to lay it out for you because you are spending your money on it, you just get stuck. That just makes it so frustrating. I'm done with venting. Now I am going to finish the other side of my shirts. Whatever is in this pattern, this is not the way that they're constructing the shirt, but I'm going to show you the way that I remember and what I've seen. I think I've already shown this earlier, but I had to sew the inside of the collar, this mark here, all the way to a mark here, which was already on the pattern that actually helped from the pattern. But these marks are only to identify the shoulder seams. So you just place your collar on the shoulder seams and you're going to sew it from shoulder seam to shoulder seam. Then that leaves me with this small portion of the collar, which I would have to flip back this way and then attach my facing onto this to sandwich in the collar. But before I do that, I have to snip this part of my collar so it can just lay flat. I probably should have done this before I sewed the other part of the collar, but it's okay. This was folding in like this, so I put a little snip here so this can fold back this way. Now I can take my facing. This part here is going to sit underneath my shirt, so I'm going to serge this part only. I'm taking my facing. This is going to go right side to right side, matching up the curved part first. There's an actual notch that I had to put to match it up with the end of the collar. Go all the way around with the facing and attach it to the rest of my shirt, going all the way down. I'm going to flip it just to make sure everything is looking good. This is the outside, and then this is the inside. Is the next morning. I completed the pajama shirt and it is so cute. It is so cute. I cropped it. I realized that I need crop tops. I can't really do long shirts. If I want a long shirt, it has to be really oversized because it has to skim over my hips. And then I'm also a shorty. I just feel like some things just don't fit right on me if it's going over my hips. I just love my tops to be cropped. So I cropped it a good bit. Here is what I cropped off of it. It's like 7 inches that I had to cut off. But yeah, I had to cut off like 7 inches off of the shirt because it was way too long. I have the rest of my bed sheet here to make my shorts. This shouldn't take me too long to whip up. I just want to make sure which size to pick from here. Now, I don't want this to be fitted. I want it to be really nice and flowy since it's a pajama set. I'm going to use the same method that I use to get my crotch adjustment from my last video with the balloon pants. That's a good measurement if you want to select the right pattern and if you want your crotch to be the way that you want it to be. I am going to put the front and back pieces together and match them up by the seam allowance. I already know my crotch measurement from the last video, so I just have to measure out the shorts, see what I'm comfortable with, and then I can select that size and cut out my pattern piece. Another thing I want to do is put pockets on these shorts. The pattern doesn't include pockets, but I want pockets on my short. Here are the pattern pieces, the front and back. I'm going to flip the front piece over. I'm just going to start with the largest size. I'm guessing that I will need the largest size. I'm going to go in a little bit for the seam allowance. Just take my measuring tape and start measuring out the crotch area. I do see that there's a slant. This is to accommodate for the waistband that needs to be flipped over. I would have to probably stop about here. Just treat all of this as the waistband. I'm going to bring it in a little bit for the seam allowance and just start measuring this crotch. It's looking like 27. So if you caught my last 2 videos on the balloon pants, I remeasured my crotch to get that crotch adjustment the way I wanted it. and my crotch came up to 27 inches. The largest size on this pattern, it comes up to 27 inches. I'm just going to use the largest pattern and work from there. If it's a little bit too big, then I can go ahead and make those adjustments. I'm just going to kind of draft out this pocket pattern that I already have. This one is a little bit too big, and I feel like it'll be too big for my pajama shorts. So I'm going to slim it down just a little bit. I don't need really big pockets for these shorts. I put my hand in here and I still have like all of this space here. If you like this video, go ahead and like it and comment down below if you would like to. I love reading everybody's comments down below. I respond to all of the comments. I love reading all of the suggestions, all of the nice things that people have to say. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe. Also, click the notification bell over so you'll be notified when I post weekly videos. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.